Has it been to, okay, it says it's being live streamed. Even I have to agree. That's kind of funny when I'm the one that's doing it. All right, so good morning, everyone. My name is Sheila Corona. This is being live streamed on my channel, Sassy Seer Sheila. So if this is your first time here, thank you for popping in. Um, if you are a longtime viewer that's followed me from Conscious Conversation Central to Corona Rising to Sassy Seer Sheila, wow, thank you so much because I've never notified anyone of anything. So you've sort of kept up with me of your own accord. And I kind of feel like um, that's how I want things to be. It's all about magnetic draw, first of all, and that's the way it is with me. Um, because for me, there's no monetary interest. As you guys know, I've always said my channel will never be monetized. This has always been about me. Let me see, can I pull you guys up over here now? We need to make this little, I'm trying to get to where I can see. Wait a minute. It doesn't say I'm live. Why is that? Okay. Maybe I should ask somebody to come play with me so I could tell. Okay, so it's also been a very long time since I've done any of this. So, um, maybe I need to go to my channel, but I am in my channel. Um, view the channel. Here we go. It says two watching. Okay, so thank you for watching the struggle. Oh, my sister Teresa, I'm so glad you're here. Thank you for peeking in. I appreciate that. Because it's a little different this go round. Like I said, I was feeling the tug to do a live yesterday, and I kind of know that I actually chickened out. And because of that, I was like, okay, well, not going to do that today because there's something there for me on that. And I want to move forward. Oh, thank you. Thank you for that, Teresa. But it also occurred to me as I just, was in here all on my own this morning, hadn't seen anybody yet, hadn't spoken to Lisa yet, um, eh, that the poll was very strong. And I didn't know that today was the 8th. Now, I don't put a lot of stock in those kinds of things about the Lionsgate and all that other kind of stuff because that's some of it, I think, not all of it, but some of it is, because for me, what I see is, I see or feel, I should say, I feel the underlying, perhaps, truthiness, let's use that word. I know there's others that have used that word of a thing, but there's also what I feel in some of that has been a manipulation. And so but I cannot help but notice another puzzle piece that shows that, oh, thank you, Teresa. I know there will be some that do feel that way. Um, there's another part of me that can't unsee the fact that a lot of people put stock in it and that, well, here I am. And so Oh, I'm being shown right now. Now, I just put a new video that I saw in the puzzle piece alert playlist here on the channel. If you go to the playlists, you'll find my hashtag puzzle piece alert playlist. These are videos that, for whatever reason, I feel carry puzzle pieces for me, and they may for you. They may not as well, but they certainly have for me. And I just yesterday was nudged to watch an interview that was recorded October of 1998. Now, I can tell you what I was doing in October of 1998 because my great grandmother passed not too long, had passed not too long before my birthday that year. And so, at any rate, it was very interesting. It's an interview with Terrence McKenna, and I actually got a flash yesterday of, and I don't know what's going to happen. That's why this is sort of an update about all of those things end with me. But I got a flash yesterday of me and possibly others, because here's the way a lot of my awakening took place. Okay. My sister, who's right now one of the four people watching, Teresa, and I were shown in 2009 Zeitgeist, the first movie by my brother. And I wept. I remember being so shocked. And my sister and I came back to North Carolina. I remember too that this was my mother was very ill, and we had gone to see her basically to say goodbye, the three of us. And so this was a huge. I was very ill myself. I was in a wheelchair. It was, just a very shocking time for me. And basically, as my sister even shared this past Sunday at our family monthly Zoom gathering, that we came home and she started trying to disprove some parts of that movie. And I just wanted to know the truth of it as well myself. And that's what signaled, marked the hugest puzzle piece I can grab out of the air that dropped me right into what a lot of people would call conspiracy theory. That and just trying to, having one's eyes open to say, oh yeah, wait a minute, hold up. Because there's some things you hear that you just know immediately with all of you that it's the truth. It doesn't matter what anybody else tries to say because you can feel it, right? And it may not be the whole truth, but it may be that one thing that sends you on the path to help you discover the truth. And some of those things, especially for me, had to do with my health, right? And there's no anything. Oh, Astro Gardens, I'm so glad you could tune in today. You've been on my mind too, honey, because since you reached out. Teresa, no, I mean, there's four people in here would love to hear where everyone's from. Oh, okay, yeah. Well, I know where Astro Garden's from if he wants to share that. Yes, I'd love to know where everybody's from too. Here's the thing for me, and part of the reason I've been so quiet and not being at all out there, and when I say not at all, I mean I haven't really exposed myself to much. I dip my toe in as to the whatever is happening in the out there, because there are still puzzle pieces that will assist me in that. But a lot of it has been this internal introspection. And when I ask myself, what is all this about? Because, like I said, I think I said in my last live, because this has been my therapy, I'm very clear about that. I know I've said many, many, many times. Yes, Teresa, that's Andrew from the Oracle Report also. His channel is called Astro Gardens, and that's his blog. And you can find that on Substack, or you can go to the Oracle Report Facebook group. And that's where I probably should have shared this. Andrew, if you don't mind sharing this in the group and let them know I'm live, maybe they might want to join. At any rate, the thing of it is, that's something else too. Listen, I haven't even been paying attention to Laura. And Laura played a huge role in my awakening, in my coming more to a, well, first of all, to me pulling more of me in here. That's for dadgum sure. absolutely helped me understand energy when people were talking about energy. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Jerry, I'm from the Netherlands. Wow, Jerry, I'm so glad that you could tune in. Thank you for being here. Um, at any rate, the thing of it is, I felt, thought it was, oh, I gotcha. Um, Actually, Teresa, it's so interesting that you say that. If that's the Barbara I think you mean, if you're speaking on cards, Lisa and I had the pleasure of having a conscious conversation with her the other day, and that is going to be put out later on today because that's part of the update that I wanted to tell y'all. I am feeling conscious conversation central so strong right now. I I I want to have, because I've said this many, many, many times. What I am drawn to out there is conversation. I always have been. And one of the things I know about me is that I'm open to seeing where, bring puzzle pieces, man, because hey, I think we all carry them. And if you feel drawn to me for any reason, there's a reason. I feel the same way, and we might not know what it is, and it might not be what we think. I still have people that, and Barbara Carnes is one of them, and I told her that the other day. From the very first time I met that lady, I knew that she and I had something to do together. I have no idea what it is. I've said this before about other people. Crystal is another one from Journey Into It, part of the New Light Streaming Love team. And that is another conversation that actually took place, and it's already available on New Light Streaming Love. Actually, you can go there to that YouTube channel and subscribe. We would love that. That's going to be the hub really for all all of us, myself, Journey Into It, which is Crystal Hemphill, and Lisa Flamino Rush. There's going to be blogs there. I know I've always known I'm supposed to write. I just whenever I write, I'm such a perfectionist that it seems to take so long. So Teresa Saywell says we all come to a place where our own inner guidance begins to take priority over anything else out there. It doesn't mean the fellowship isn't essential. And you're right, first of all, absolutely right. And I don't feel badly about stepping back and taking this time at all, because what a huge hypocrite that would be for me to say, only move towards that which brings you the highest joy. And hey, what guess what? If being here ain't bringing me the highest joy, why would I do it like that? And that's the reason I want you all to realize this is not a business. I'm not trying to sell you something. This is always, and I've always been very clear with everyone. This ain't about you. This is about me. This is about me seeing me and working shit out for me. I mean, I'm sorry, but that is the what this is. And I kind of feel like, and here's where the judginess comes in. I kind of feel like if each point of awareness, because that's what I really truly feel, each being on this planet is a point of awareness for the Godhead, the all that is, to experience a completely separate set of experiences from all the rest and bits of the points of awareness, which equates to each one being unique for a reason. Everybody wants to belong. Everyone wants to feel accepted and loved. And for a long time, we've been convinced that that means walking in lockstep and agreeing with everything that everybody else thinks and all of that. And I'm sorry, but there's room and reason enough for everyone, for all, for everything. I mean, it's here, it's already here. And it's all a matter of perspective, experiences, choice, all of those things. So like I said, this is what I've been really just guided to be right here. It's always been right. It has to be right here. I'm smart enough to know I can't fix none of y'all. And who am I to think that I could fix you anyway? I'm sorry. On what sort of level? We ain't here to fix each other, folks. That ain't how this works. That ain't how any of this is supposed. We're here to figure ourselves out. And I again, it's taken me a long time to get to this and know that this is absolutely the truth of it. Each one of us that does fix ourselves creates solution that we now carry around in our electromagnetic field and make it easier for others to access. And I'll tell you that I came to that conclusion from the puzzle pieces from lots of things, including my book study group, right? We pick a book, we read it together, we talk, we share, and I had to see this in a very real way, in a very real set of circumstances. Books were coming in, some, this is a carryover from Corona Rising. I had a viewer, which I don't think he made the transition from Corona Rising over to Sassy C or Sheila, although maybe he did. I don't know. But I got an email from a beautiful soul who shared a book with me. And at the moment that it came in, it's been a very powerful book. And I just learned the other day with that conversation with Barbara that she was the one who sent this to me, because I was like, I wanted this book, but I couldn't find it. And I don't know. I think I even said in one of my videos, one of my lives, and she must have missed it too, because I was beginning to think this was from a different timeline because I had no memory of ordering it. And I had no thing in my bank account that showed I'd ordered it. And here was this book in my name. And it was because she had ordered it and sent it to me and didn't say anything. At any rate, I realized during these book clubs that we had organized, because I was nudged to begin. First of all, Lisa and I read this book almost in its entirety within 2 days. We couldn't put it down. We were reading it to each other. And I knew about an hour into it that I was to record it. And all I had at that point was the PDF. And I had made mention that I really wanted to have the actual book to read from, and that's how it showed up. Isn't that beautiful? So the thing I'm trying to say here is, as it happened, there's been 3 books now that I read by myself, or in this case with Lisa, and we had conversations and discussion. And that's one thing, okay? But then I was reading it, I recorded it for the channel for Corona Rising. And during that, I don't think I interrupted much for insights. But then we read it as a group. And as a group, I was able to pull more from this book. And I asked myself, why is that? This is the 3rd reading, and it was within a very short period of time. And I was able to glean more. And what I got was all the information that was carried in the electromagnetic fields of all of my book club, even though it was in Zoom, was available to me. And so there were insights that others were carrying that were puzzle pieces that informed me. Now, this is how I have figured out how I work, but I, in the human design blueprint of who we are when we choose to enter the earth, am what's called a projector, which is why I chose Sassy Seer Sheila for this iteration of my channel, because the projectors are considered seers. We have a aura, and this is what makes some of you feel uncomfortable with me, is the transparency. And I have apparently my aura drills into other auras, which also makes sense from what you see, that's another puzzle piece. So, all of this to say that my nudges now are to begin having conscious conversations again. And this is an open invitation for those who feel comfortable to come and have adult conversations that will be recorded. I won't demand that you be on camera if you really just don't feel comfortable. But the truth of the matter for me is, and I will maintain this, I think that portion, for what the reason that I am feeling these are important, is important for those to be comfortable or to work with me to feel comfortable, because uh, I know it can be a little disconcerting. People feel like, oh, I'm on camera. The whole world's going to see this. But really, that's the point for me, is the ability to have adult conversations in a manner that people don't break down into screaming matches and they're actually open. This is something that hasn't been modeled much in the human collective, in the psyche, in my view. People are really great at doing podcasts where they can't be seen and they're anonymous, and maybe to me, that sort of frees people up from some otherwise, I'm going to use the word civilized behavior between adults. If one doesn't have the ability to keep oneself open to hearing other points of view, this is not for you. Participation is not for you, in my view, because having a difference of opinion or something to add where you share your insight, I share my insight, we discuss the topic at large, we bring other insights to it. It's not a convincing, I'm trying to convince anybody of anything. I'm sharing my perspective. And I'm hoping that folks get the gist of what I'm saying here. You see, for the last several years, while the Rushes have been living with me here, we've been, I feel we are living community, right? This is the attempt at having community where everybody is aware that we are divinity, and we are working out our programming, our brainwashing, our trauma. Okay, because there's not a being on this planet that isn't operating from a state of trauma. Everybody, I'm sorry, childhood pretty much is a hazing ritual, if you ask me, because most of our parents, at least from my perspective, especially being on the edge of I've been lumped in year wise with the boomers, but honestly, I identify more with the Generation X folks, right? We were the ones that were raised on kicking your kids out. We were the original latchkey kids, my family anyway, you know? And so it's more like, from this perspective, um, there's something to be said for being open to being able to hear another point of view without devolving into name calling and all that sort of thing. If indeed we are all one, if indeed the desire for all beings is unity, that does not mean everybody think the same way and agree on the same thing. And that's part of the trick, to me, from my perspective. That's how it's a slippery slope. Well, then you don't have any morals. Well, who made up the idea of what morals are? So for me, that's one of the topics, you see. And so what I'm looking for from everyone is participants and topics. If you don't want to participate, except maybe, in the comments, which is fine. I doubt these will be live. they will more than likely be held privately and then put out uh, to everyone, on this channel, if it can hold on this channel, because I'm flirting with the third time I'm being taken off of YouTube. So there's that. Yeah, and that's another puzzle piece too. Hands up anybody who thinks that a lot of what's going on out there, that I did anything like what they were doing. They, you know what I mean? Yeah, I feel like it's a frequential thing more than what you say. Well, what you say can get you in trouble too, but oh, I see we're up to 7 folks now. Well, at any rate, so the invitation is thusly. I mean, you're invited if you don't want to show your face, but please understand this is all about transparency. I kind of feel like what we're moving into now and what I wish to show are folks who truly are interested in having an open conversation, that aren't coming to prove their point, but rather to participate and ask questions and feel into things, because that's my point. I don't want to and I'm not real sure exactly which iteration and how this will work, because, like I said, a lot of what I've done since the Rushes have lived in this community, specifically Lisa and I, is to take a look at a video that either of us may feel drawn to and feel into what is being said and glean insights about what our point of awareness feels about that. And so what's going on out here in the outside bears discussion, if you ask me. And a lot of vilifying is going on, and people are afraid to have open discussions anymore. First of all, the last time I checked, I'm still living in the United States of America, and that means that it's free speech. And you might not like my speech, and I'm not hateful or anything. So I'm not asking folks that don't like my speech to hang around either. And I don't think they'll be drawn. So at any rate, that's what I'm looking for, folks that want to participate on the levels of not just informing yourself, but participating in informing others. Like I said, helping folks see, what does it really look like to have deep, intelligent conversations about things that might actually be outside of your belief system. And for me, belief system is equated with programming, and I have lots of it. So don't think I'm saying other people are programmed and I'm not, because that's not ever been how I feel. So, yeah, I can feel the energy has just been rushing through me through this whole thing. So let me get quiet for a moment, because I want to make sure I don't miss out anything that I'm supposed to be relating here. I truly do feel that it is time, and it could be that because I want to hold these not live, you might participate in a discussion that I feel is not pertinent or whatever, and I reserve the right whether or not to put it out. Now, if we have a conversation and all the people in there decide they don't want this to go out, well, I'll respect that. But I feel like it too, that these conversations, same thing, they'll go into the field. They will at least be available to others, whether they are publicized or not, will actually be in the field. But I feel like it's important because there's a lot of, and I actually saw somebody say this the other day, specifically about those who have been raised in this culture where these younger generations will sit in the room with each other and text back and forth. There's a lot of communication that happens in person or with sight that's missed out. mannerisms, those sorts of things. I've recognized that for myself because in asking myself, what is your penchant for needing to see people, Sheila? That's part of it, for me anyway. So you'll be putting out notifications for your meetings. Well, actually, that's just it. It's not a, I'm going to put out a time and anybody can show up. I'm not looking for that. I'm looking for folks who definitely want to participate. I'm going to be sharing, I'll give, I don't know, a week's notice for the first one, with the topic that I'd like to discuss. And I welcome anyone who would like to discuss it. Like I said, the prerequisites are to be open to hearing points of view that are not your own, because the truth is, I'm not interested in having just a echo chamber. There's plenty of that out there. I want an honest uh, perspective from another point of awareness of God, because that's what I feel like we all are. Each one of us is a point of awareness of the Godhead. It is what God is doing. It is I mean, he's everywhere doing everything. It's all that it's always been there right out in the open that God is omnipresent, except for inside you. I'm sorry, what? So it's always been there. It's just that we've been convinced otherwise, right? First of all, and that's part of what I'm learning for myself, right? And so, as this particular point of awareness of the all that is, I'm inviting other points of awareness of the all that is that has experienced different things from me, which could be anybody, because that is the entire point of the exercise of humanity, is to be unique, to have a completely different experience that, by the way, no one else will ever be able to share or totally understand. And I know that might sound lonesome and lonely to you, but the truth of the matter is that is the way it is. And for me, knowing that, I actually take comfort in the fact that lonesome feeling is the separation from the all. And my acknowledgement of you, all of you, being the rest of the all, and allowing you to have your own experience of the all, that actually does something else. Feel that. To me, that is the most amazing. I would no more want to try to program you to be just like me than fly to the moon and back. No. So I guess that's pretty much it for this one. I just wanted to let y'all know that you can start to see me coming back more and more. I'm also, I don't know why, but is right this minute because see, I'm a little conflicted on the card part of what I used to do. And what I mean by that is I haven't touched my cards since the last time I was here. And that's kind of interesting for me. So I think I'm going to let that go for now. But just that moment, as I was feeling into that, there was something about alive at night for me to continue to practice and just see where I am with my intuitive abilities. I'm not sure. Vote on that in the comments below if you'd like to see me come back and hold a live card pull for anyone who shows up. I'm happy to entertain that idea. Was there anything else that I wanted to share? So you can look for those two conversations. Also, do go over to New Light Streaming Love YouTube channel. Subscribe over there, because there will be things that I will be participating in that will only appear on that channel. There will be things that I participate in that will be appearing on both channels. And I've had this feeling now, and I've said it a couple of times, but I haven't done it. But today is one of those days where I believe it's going to begin. I will be re-recording because I'm feeling strongly to re-record these two books. Now, the very first one that I actually drew the first puzzle piece from, that I was being able to access what was in others' fields, was this book, The Jeshua Channelings. Now, this book is available. You can find the JeshuaChannelings.net, right, and read all of the Jeshua Channelings for free. I opted to purchase the book, and clearly, since it was on the internet and freely available to all, I didn't have to get the author's permission. But I felt strongly with this one for some reason to ask permission, and I was granted permission. Now, but while I waited, I had already started reading it, and I, because I knew I was to record it. And so then I began recording it once I received permission. And then I asked if our book club wanted to do this one next. And for me, I can't unsee the sequence of events that took place. This book right here came before The Soul's Journey, actually. Okay. There was more validation about the way I have always suspected us to be, what's going on the planet, who Christ actually was, that sort of thing, right? I didn't think of it in the terms that it's described of in here, but as I read these words, I was like, oh my God, there are just so there's a lot to be gleaned from this book. And I am going to, oh yeah, okay. I'd like to put this out there. Anybody who's interested in reading this together again, um, in a separate, doesn't have to be the book club I'm in now, because we're getting ready to move on to another book that I felt nudged, because we are, and if you want to be a part of the book club, conscious conversation central at gmail.com. That's the way to get in touch with me if you're not already a Facebook friend or something. And I'd really like to have the email so I can, email you the information. Right now, we are finishing up this book, and this is the first one that I have to finish recording, because this one is available. Books 1 and 2 and part of book 3 are already recorded here on this channel and available for you. They are also over on New Light Streaming Love. So I will be finishing this recording first, and then I'll begin recording the others as I can. And I want to study this book, The Kabbalion, and also, and I say study, what I mean is we get together, we read it, that sort of thing. And also the Emerald Tablets. And the reason for that, y'all, so you can understand what's happening within my being, if you choose, in the Handbook for the New Paradigm, which this book is very interesting to say the least. And quite frankly, again, it's another one of those deals where I feel like there's such huge puzzle pieces to be gleaned out of this. I would love to have more beings involved with doing a reading of this. This is a collection of channelings that it's my understanding it took place over many, many, many years. Also freely available. I chose to purchase the book so that I would have it and I could read from it more easily while doing the book study. As you can see, I make notes and everything, and there's all kinds of stuff in there. This book talks about the universal laws a lot, and that's why I wanted to take a look at these. And so I don't know, there's just a lot of information that I feel is there for me personally. And that's why it's important for each to only move to what they are drawn to. If you're not drawn, don't come, don't show up. Because honestly, um, there won't be anything for you, not to benefit you if you don't feel drawn. I mean, that's the way I look at it. That's from my perspective. Anything and everything I ever tell you or say to you is from my own perspective, which is always based on all of my collective experiences over the 62 and three quarters years I've been on this planet, right? That's what I have to draw from, that and whatever intuition I will actually listen to. And I say it like that because we've all had those instances. Yes, Teresa, it has been lovely to connect with everyone. And so that's it for this edition. As always, I will be, if I choose to do a live, it will probably be last minute and surprise. And I know with all of me, that's the only, because there's been a couple of times I felt to turn on Zoom and hit record, and then I don't put it out. So there's still something in this that I'm not quite sure what it is I'm resisting, right? And so in some ways, showing up live and having folks join me is a way of holding myself responsible and accountable. Um, and it feels right. I don't know. I don't have anything other to offer you there because again, this is me working out me, right? I just have the balls apparently to do it in front of everybody because apparently that's the only way I will. And so there's that. We can all make of that whatever we want, but that's what I see, sense, and feel in these moments of now. Okay, so that's it. This has been almost a full hour of me just blathering on, so I'll just stop now. And I want to thank all of you that showed up, and I hope that you will participate. Any of you that aren't here now but will see this later, thank you so much for tuning in. If you want to subscribe to the channel, I would love that. But yet, again, like I said, it's not a requirement because it doesn't really I'm not after the clicks and the likes and the stuff like that. I prefer that folks come because they feel drawn, and because if you feel drawn, then there's something we can do together to make each other whole. That's the way it feels to me. That's the way I want to move forward in my life. And I have the right to choose. And so that's what I'll be doing. And if you want to play with me, come on over to the playground and we'll play. Thanks, guys. Have a wonderful day. It's still so rainy here in North Carolina. Apparently, we are under some sort of storm warning, so much so they called out the college and things like that. So I'm glad we were able to keep the lights and whatnot because apparently something down the street lost power. So y'all be well, and till next time, be looking out for some more conversations to come, and I hope you'll hit us up and begin to participate as well. Yeah, just it feels like well, I don't know what's trying to come through, but I'm just going to let it go now.